Here we are. Oh, that was weird.
That was weird. We're existing in the future and the past simultaneously. Amazing.
Here we are with T's Weird Week live. I'm T. Krulos.
I'm Heidi Erickson.
Right. So some exciting news just before we're going live here with the podcast, and that is you are looking at Facebook Marketplace for haunted items, like I assume you do on a regular basis.
I mean, maybe. Well, why have a toaster when you could have a haunted toaster? Is all I'm trying to say.
And you found a listing for a possibly haunted teapot.
Yeah, she said probably. They said it's probably haunted.
We're gonna get that teapot. In fact, I'm gonna get that teapot tomorrow.
So great.
And, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but we're gonna set up some experiments. Maybe we'll get some paranormal investigation groups to have a seance with the teapot in the middle.
You know what we should do? We should get a couple of teapots and try and figure out which one is the haunted teapot. I mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I do actually occasionally go on Facebook looking for haunted things, because mostly if you look for haunted stuff for sale, on eBay or whatever, it's almost always haunted dolls, which no, thank you. I'm not, absolutely not. Those things have legs. They have little hands with little fingers and shit. Bad things could happen. In general, I feel like dolls are pretty creepy, because of the uncanny valley thing, probably a little bit. But also a doll is technically a simulacrum, like a golem is. And in a lot of traditional crafts, you don't have human shaped things just laying around, because that is an invitation to certain kinds of non-corporeal things to just set up residence, start hanging wallpaper, just getting weird with their little doll fingers. Fuck that noise. But haunted teapot, I was like, I drink tea all the time. I could be having haunted tea right now. This teapot is in Milwaukee. And then we found out that it actually belongs to my friend Sam, who I just had coffee with today. And I said, Sam, what's up with this teapot? Why is it haunted? Apparently they picked it up on the side of the road. Somebody was getting rid of a bunch of stuff. And they were like, oh, cute teapot. It is a cute teapot. It's a little cute teapot. It doesn't look haunted. It looks like you got it from IKEA. And maybe you did. I have a feeling that a lot of things at IKEA, do you ever get the fear, Hunter S. Thompson style, when you go to IKEA? I definitely sometimes have been like, none of us are getting out of here alive. I sometimes wonder if that stuff isn't haunted. But
well, and I saw a meme too that made some joke about mispronouncing the Swedish word for the furniture and accidentally summoning some sort of demon.
Right, because they say it's Swedish, but we don't know that. Could be Aramaic. No, you don't fucking speak Swedish. I don't speak Swedish. Right. So, I mean, definitely IKEA has big time cult energy. But it's just a cute little teapot. But she got it. She's like, cute teapot. Takes it home. They go to make some tea in it. And they said just got bad vibes off of the teapot. Super bad vibes. And they tried to blow it off. And they made some tea. And the tea was done. And they could not compel themselves to drink the tea in this teapot. Just bad vibes. And they're not that kind of person. They're not like me on Facebook Marketplace being like, I sure would like a haunted blender. That's not their game at all. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with this teapot. Inquiring minds want to know. Ooh, but that didn't come from nowhere, because I went on a haunted thing.
That was, I had tabs open for our stories, and a video must have automatically started playing.
Oh,
that was pretty weird.
Maybe your computer is haunted. Have you looked into that? Maybe you looked into it?
I'm gonna sell it on Facebook Marketplace.
Some of the stuff you look for when you're looking for haunted stuff on like eBay is just so obviously just a box full of trash they found in their garage. Like, oh, this is a haunted oil filter, slightly used. Ugh, totally, absolutely. No, because you sent a story about a property that was for sale
Yeah.
that was haunted.
Yeah, this is exciting. And in a future episode this season, we have a friend named Crystal, and she's a moderator at the Tease Weird Week Facebook page. She's awesome.
She's great.
She was on the show maybe season 2. We talked about wrestling a little bit because she has a podcast called Wrestling Public Radio, I think is the name of it. But anyway, she's also a real estate agent. So we're going to talk about some various haunted real estate properties that are on the market now. And we might talk more about this, but I wanted to talk about it now anyway because it's such a cool castle.
Can we wait, hold on, back up. Mm-hmm. Can we go to open houses at these haunted houses that are for sale?
I mean, if we can get there, I would assume.
Okay, well,
we'll have to get the podcast budget to include a trip to Scotland.
Okay, well, all right. We'll just put it out there, you guys. If you would like to see the Tease Weird Week crew go through this haunted castle in Scotland, then we'll start a GoFundMe and you can send us there. I guarantee it would be entertaining for sure.
Yeah. So this castle, I'm sure there's many haunted castles in Scotland.
Yeah.
But this one is located in Fife, Scotland. It's from the 16th century, built in 1546. It's called the Earlshall Castle. They once hosted Mary, the Queen of the Scots, at this castle as a guest.
Sure.
It's 55 miles from Edinburgh, so not far from, if you need to get into town. And one of the owners was Andrew Bruce. He was the 6th Baron of Earlshall, and he was a descendant of Robert the Bruce, very famous King of Scotland, who was in Braveheart.
Yeah, remember? He's a bad mammer jammer.
Yeah. So Andrew Bruce is apparently still hanging around the castle. He has the nickname Bloody Bruce. And there's no.
Is it because he got no?
From what I read, it was because he was particularly vicious on the battlefield.
Oh, so it's not because he had allergies and got bloody noses all the time or something.
No, I guess he was a bloody Scottish warrior.
Oh, sure. Good for him.
There's no official asking price. So, I mean, I think that what they're saying is that this property is so valuable that they won't even humor the idea of giving you a price tag on it.
They wouldn't stoop to anything so petty as telling you what something costs. Okay. Well,
that was my interpretation. Yeah.
I got $15.95 right here, you guys. Let the bidding begin. We're going to say that. We're going to say it's currently listed at $15.99 American. And you can just start your bidding from there. Sweet. I love that. That's actually not far from where I lived in Scotland when I was a little kid, which was also super haunted. The whole island of Great Britain is just haunted from one end to the other, actually. There's fairies and druids and so many wars and leprechauns, I guess. I don't know. No, wait, that's Ireland. That's a totally different island. Yeah. I used to live in a house that belonged to the Lord of Dunoon, which was on one side of Holy Loch, and that place was haunted as balls. So haunted it made my mom swear the only time I ever heard her swear the whole time I was growing up. She told some lady to go fuck herself. It was pretty impressive. Just get us the fuck out of this house. Cool. Great. Well, now we know where we're putting our 401k. That's good.
Let me pull this article. Was the one making some music noise because a commercial played or something. But the only other thing I wanted to note was that it's a pretty sizable property.
Yeah.
In that it has a 50-foot long dining room with hand-painted ceiling depicting the Scottish royal family's coats of arms.
Sweet.
And it's got like 10 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms. 6 bathrooms. All right. Walled gardens. There's a couple of cottages on the property as well.
Right, in case
So
10 bedrooms was not enough for your
right.
situation when you're
Yeah.
having a real big sleepover. You know what I thought was funny about this article is at the end, the people who wrote the article said they reached out to the realtor to confirm that this place was haunted. And the realtor said that she didn't want to talk about it because the fact that it's haunted wasn't really good for selling the property. I don't think that's true at all. I got $14.99 right here that says that some property developer will buy that place and turn it into an Airbnb or a hotel or something and totally bank on the fact that it's probably haunted.
This spokesperson said that talking about would be unhelpful with sales, but you're totally right. It's paranormal tourism has been a very big developing business. And you could totally what was that? There's this comedy, it's like a 80s High Spirits.
Right.
You ever see the movie High Spirits?
Yeah, for sure I did.
Yeah, where they fix up the old creaky castle and they make it into like a fake haunted house, and
right.
And everyone loves it, of course. So
yeah, like people are definitely buying properties just because they're that fucking guy Zach Bagans does that all the time, where he buys up properties that are supposed to be haunted and turns them into attractions, which I think is a little weird. Like if you were dead and stuff and like just bumping around in your old house or whatever, wishing that you could eat a Pop-Tart, and every 10 minutes or so some asshole from Omaha was in there with like an EMF detector, like I would find that highly annoying. I probably would just leave. I don't think it would be haunted for long. No way, dude. He collects all that other haunted stuff too. He's got that museum in Las Vegas.
He's got a museum in Las Vegas. Yeah, some of the items he have are questionable as to whether they are what he says they are.
Right.
But interesting. Like he has Bela Lugosi's mirror.
Right.
Which would be pretty cool. Bela Lugosi's haunted mirror, except someone did like an investigation into it and discovered that it most likely did not come from Bela Lugosi's property.
Right.
He's got like a Ed Gein. He's got like a cauldron from Ed Gein's house. Maybe he does. It's cool though, anyway.
I don't think that Zach Bagans is deliberately trying to like fool anybody with his like reproductions of Robert the Doll and cauldrons, mostly because I think he lacks the guile to pull that off.
Right.
I think he probably like saw some dude in a parking lot and was like,
the guy was
Zach,
hey, come here. You want to buy Ed Gein's cauldron?
He whips open his overcoat like in a cartoon, and it's just like a bunch of cauldrons with names on it. It says like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Gein, and he just picks the Gein.
And I can't really cast a stone because you said, "Hey, there's a haunted teapot on Facebook Marketplace." I was like, "Sold."
You're like, I don't even like tea.
Your friend listed it on Facebook Marketplace like 35 weeks ago. And I saw it, I'm like, sold. Instantly sold. I was like, hey, I'm picking up tomorrow.
We're those kind of people, though. We're super those kind of people. Like, I've watched a couple of videos on the internet of people doing unboxings of things that are supposed to be like haunted dolls and the haunted packages. And definitely there's some stories of people doing this and like their lives absolutely going to hell or like weird things starting to happen and what have you. The worst ones are always like the Dybbuk boxes. Like they'll be
Uh,
like, "Oh, you got this haunted Dybbuk box." If you don't know what a Dybbuk box is, a Dybbuk box is something from like Jewish mysticism from Kabbalah, where they would essentially say if there's a demon, you can trap it in this box with various like incantations and words and things carved in it, written on it, whatever. And you're supposed to not ever open the box because there's a demon in there, and it'll come out. But yeah, people always making a big deal about opening the Dybbuk boxes, but those are hard to watch because some people like make a hobby out of buying that kind of stuff off of like Silk Road and like dark websites and things. And I've seen some people open these boxes and some real foul shit has come out of those boxes, like things where you're like, oh, am I an accessory to like a crime right now? Because I'm pretty sure this is just like a bloody glove or whatever. So haunting more than haunted, but definitely don't buy haunted stuff off the internet, except us. We're professionals, you guys. We're professionals. You just don't try this at home. It's like Mythbusters. Fair? Fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. This is the first haunted item that I'm buying. I think
Probably haunted.
probably haunted. Yeah, I'm gonna start. There's a traveling museum of like haunted items.
Ooh, is there?
Yeah, it's run by Greg and Dana Newkirk. I forget what the actual name of the museum is, but it's really cool. They pack it up and they go to different conferences and display all these items.
Is that the one that was a big kind of controversy a couple months ago with? Because they had like this guy had just donated his body to science. He just passed away.
Oh, no. That's the Oddities and Curiosities Expo, which, by the way, is coming to Milwaukee in May.
So we're going.
Yeah. We're going to go check it out. I don't know if they're bringing any cadavers with them this time, but
I guess they would skip it. I think they got sued pretty hard, actually. So
yeah, I don't know if they got sued, but they definitely got a negative response.
Right.
You know. So,
yeah.
Or I don't know, not sued, but definitely like the person's loved ones found out and were not happy about it. So,
his wife was there.
Yeah.
She identified him by his tattoo, if I remember correctly, and was like, what the fuck? Because he had donated his body to science. And in between that, the big story about that wasn't even this oddities place doing this autopsy on this corpse that they had gotten a hold of. Because unless you know the person, a corpse is just a corpse. It's just a big bag of meat with a face on it. No problem. But the deal was that someplace between his body being donated to science, so like the time that he passed and they were supposed to come pick up his body, and him arriving at this oddities fair, at least two different groups of people had a hold of his corpse and made money off of the buying and selling of his corpse, which is part of the reason why it's totally illegal to buy and sell human remains in America. Like, you just can't do that. It's not cool. Yeah. It's not cool to have an odd fellow because you don't know where that shit came from. Not a good call.
Yeah.
Even us, and we're professionals, even T and I would not acquire a corpse on purpose. If we ever acquire a corpse, it'll be totally by accident. Whoopsie. Looks like we've acquired a corpse. Acquired. We didn't create it. We acquired it. Oh, okay.
But the oddities and curiosities thing looks pretty cool. Actually, there's a lot of vendors selling taxidermied weird stuff. They have a taxidermy class you can take at this expo where they show you how you can make your own two-headed squirrel or something like that.
Oh, I've always thought squirrels didn't have enough heads. It's like that squirrel would be a lot better if it just had another head on it. Fuck, I hate squirrels so much. Okay, cool. I love that plan. I love that very much. There was that one artist. Remember that cool expo that we went to last year, the year before, where it was all these people who did haunted houses and
Midwest Haunters Convention.
Super fun time. And there was an artist, I have her card laying around here somewhere, and the art that she did is like she did paintings mostly of like horror icons and characters from horror movies and stuff on these pieces of leather that she stretched in wood frames, really like deliberately crudely, like rustic looking. So it looked like you were getting a painting that had been painted on human skin that had been stretched across a wooden frame. Really cool. We could just fake it, is what I'm saying. We don't have to have an actual corpse. Catch me over here trying to talk T out of acquiring a corpse like that's all he talks about. I'm like, T, what if we did?
If we did it a little differently. Yeah.
What if we got a diet corpse? What if we just did that?
Okay. All right. Next story. This story, I love it. You sent it to me not too much earlier today, but apparently there was an incident at the Golden Corral. This is in
Yep.
Pennsylvania, and by the way, we had a story from last week. I don't remember which one. That was also from Pennsylvania. So I think that they're starting to be a contender for. We got this banner that we put up sometimes: Wisconsin, Scotland, or Florida, because a lot of weird stories come from there, including we had one already today from Scotland.
Yeah.
But Pennsylvania seems to be maybe a weird place. I'm not very familiar with Pennsylvania, but it does
No.
sound like Transylvania, so maybe. But a Golden Corral, they ran out of steak in their buffet, and that set someone off. And the next thing you know, there are 40 people who
Yeah.
are punching each other, throwing
Yeah.
high chairs at each other, chairs. The video I saw that was in that link you sent, that is a 2-minute long video.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, 40 people can really fuck up a Golden Corral in 2
Yeah,
minutes
dude.
because
That
they
was like
destroyed that place.
WWE circa 1996. Like they were fucking it up. So I guess what happened was it was after, Friday night services or whatever. There's a bunch of people in the Golden Corral. They were running out of steak, and we already knew this. They were already running out of steak. One family, like a whole family, cut in front of another family in the steak line, which if you've ever been to Golden Corral, like you're lucky they didn't drop you right there, bud. Like by rights, I think legally in a Golden Corral, if someone cuts you in the steak line, you're allowed to just shank them, like drown them in the chocolate fountain or something. So apparently they cut the people. And then once they cut in front of them, in addition to that, they got to the actual steaks and were being super picky about which steak they wanted. We're like, oh no, that one's got too much fat on it. Oh no, I don't want that one. I want cut me another piece. And they did this and like held up the whole line, and then the steak was gone. So the people behind them were like, what the hell? And I guess they turned around and said something to him along the lines of, what are you going to do about it, buddy? And madness ensued. It seems like in the video, there's like, because there's like 40 people in this Golden Corral just going hell bent for leather. And at this point, I'd like to point out there's no prize. There's nothing to win. The steak is gone. Like nothing will come of this except the satisfaction of your bloodlust and your deep need for revenge. The one guy, like, just starts throwing high chairs, the big wooden ones like you have at a family restaurant. And then like he throws another one, he picks up a table and he runs at these people. I really think the whole thing would have been over and done with if it hadn't been for this one dude who clearly like had taken a series of left turns in his life, the last of which was like he got cut in line at Golden Corral, and that was it. He was ready to go to fucking jail. He was like, that's it. I don't care. I don't care if I kill somebody in this Golden Corral tonight. It's over. This will not stand. And he just went to town. But like you can see, like the chandeliers in the ceiling are breaking. There's glass everywhere. The tables go down. Stuff goes flying. My favorite part is the employees who are clearly just like, nope, not worth it. Going back to McDonald's. Fuck this noise. Yeah, it was quite a scene. Also, fun fact, Sam of the Haunted Teapot sent me that story.
Oh, okay.
See, it all comes around. It's all coming around.
My favorite part is the old guy who's just kind of walking through the crowd, sipping on his soda, trying to get away. He's like, I'm getting out of here as fast as I can walk.
But he was like meandering. He had this look on his face where he's like, ah, Christ, not again. This is why I go back to Shoney's every single time. It's crazy though. Okay, so the only thing I know about Pennsylvania is that song by the Bloodhound Gang, which is an awesome song. And if you haven't heard it, you should, but don't let your kids hear it because it's filthy. Andrew knows what I'm talking about. 100%. Andrew has listened to the Bloodhound Gang. Okay. But it seems like it's less about Pennsylvania and more about the Golden Corral. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to the Golden Corral.
I have, but it's been quite a long time since I've been there.
It's real organic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not like the food is organic, but like there's a whole ecosystem that just exists in the Golden Corral. Yerp. Let's keep an eye.
Because it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Is that right?
It's an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh,
it's it's like $15 all you can eat. And it's a real strange place. And you get like the red plastic lunchroom tray with your stuff on it. And once you put people in a lunchroom, forget it. Like that's no.
This story also just feels very primal to me as far as like, humans have this ingrained, like, we need to eat to survive. So someone takes the last piece of steak and then everyone just flips out.
Right.
Because their like survival instinct kicks in.
Right.
Like, the protein. Someone took the protein.
How dare you? But see, that's the thing though, is it wasn't actually about the steak. It was about these people.
The people cutting in front.
They cut in line, then they held up the line. Yeah. Then there was no steak. And then they thought it was a good idea to turn around and say something to the people behind them, because I'm sure what they were thinking was, what are you going to do about it? And their response was, I'm going to tear this fucking Golden Corral to the ground. I will burn this place down. How dare you? I don't know. People are worn thin, man. They're like, it's been a lot. It's been 2 years of crazy, like, pandemic, Donald Trump, like all this shit happened. I don't know. There's still people in Dallas, I think, who really expect Elvis and JFK to show up at any moment in time. Like, I was talking to someone else today who was telling me about how she was having a conversation with a totally normal person who she's friends with and thought she knew well, only to hear that this person believed that Kanye West was a time traveler. 100%. Apparently I'm sure you've heard of this one. Were you researching time travelers for a second there?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Have you heard of this theory about Kanye West traveling back in time to set things up so that they turn out in his favor here in the year 20 and 22?
No, I've not heard that one.
Oh, it's a whole new one. Oh, great. Oh my God. What if he came up with it on his own? What if this is a whole new separate conspiracy theory? That's actually kind of impressive.
Yeah. He's like sitting there on Reddit or 8chan like, hey guys, isn't this crazy? Isn't Kanye West so awesome? Like, he must totally be a time traveler.
No, I love the idea of him like going on 4chan and reading all the mad shit that's on there and being like, I could do better. Wait till you read this shit. Kanye West travels through time. Yeah, people are just at their wits' end. Like, you can't say anything to anybody these days because you just never know if the person that you're talking to has just absolutely maxed out on reality, because like a lot of us are like, we have seen enough to know we have seen too much, and they will kill somebody over some disrespect at Golden Corral. It's just the way it is. That high chair guy wanted blood, like, for sure. He totally did. Oh, I'm glad they didn't use any food. Like, I'm glad they didn't like go to the next station and grab the ham and just start. Like, oh, that would have been the worst. Ugh. Could have been worse, you guys. Could have been worse. Dodged a bullet.
That would have been, Yeah, maybe worse. A massive food fight between 40 people, just like throwing hams and like entire trays of green beans at each other. Yeah.
Right? That have been. I mean, it would have been fun to watch, but it would not.
Not
It
have been
would not
fun to
have been
clean up.
good.
Yeah.
No, they'd have closed that place down. Like, there's no way the employees
Uh,
wouldn't have had it.
you mentioned the QAnon people in Dallas.
Yeah,
Dallas. I haven't checked in on them. I mean, not personally, but I haven't like Googled them in a while. Last I saw, they were still there.
yeah.
But there's another story, and I need to look into it more because I forgot about it until now. But it happened this week, and apparently QAnon was reacting to something, and they thought that they found like the new satanic headquarters, which was in a butterfly
Oh,
refuge in
I
Texas.
I read up on this. I got you. I got you, T.
Oh,
Okay,
cool. Oh,
so
good.
here's what happened. I actually read it from the other perspective, which was that the Butterfly House itself
Yeah.
posted on its social media page and its web page that they were going to be closed for the weekend. And the reason that they were going to be closed for the weekend is because this, like, what did they say? Like a caravan or whatever, this group of like they said Trump supporters, because there's this whole thing where Donald Trump is saying he's going to run for president again. Are you aware of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
hear.
yeah. So he's already got like a bevy of lunatics who are like all about this, going all over the place. Here's the thing: they're the build the wall people. They were from the build, like we build the wall, or we're gonna build the wall, where the fuck. That butterfly sanctuary is right where the wall is supposed to go through. Like the wall is
Okay.
supposed to go through the land that the butterfly sanctuary is on. And the
Yeah.
butterfly sanctuary was like, you can't do that. There's
Yeah.
several protected species of butterfly that stop here on this land, and butterflies are weird. They won't just go around. If they don't have the place to stop, like they'll die, like because they'll try and keep flying to the next spot, and their little bodies just won't make it and they'll die. So like you can't do this. Immediately the conspiracy people were like, it's because this is where illegal immigrants are coming through. The
Mhm.
butterfly house is a total like cover for like people smuggling across the border, where like quote unquote illegals are coming through. So what happened was a state senator whose name I don't remember, I wish I did, who is part of this build the wall scenario, went to the butterfly sanctuary and talked to the woman who runs the place and accused her of like trying to get illegals into the country or whatever, pushed her, stole her phone, got into her car, tried to leave the property. The son of the woman who runs the sanctuary was running the visitor center, saw this woman coming, knew what was happening, and tried to close the gate so that she couldn't get away with his mother's phone. And she tried to run him down, like
Damn.
run him down. It's all on CCTV. It's all been caught on CCTV. It was a bad day at the butterfly sanctuary. Afterwards, the crazy people who were at the butterfly sanctuary said the only butterflies that they saw were swarming a dead body, and they saw nothing but butterflies swarming a dead body and piles of trash left behind by the ceaseless flow of illegals. Yeah, that happened. So then the Texas, because this is happening in Texas, the Texas State Police, uh, one of whom, some high official in the Texas State Police, is somehow related to this state senator who did this. They're like, you need to close down because she's getting death threats. The butterfly sanctuary is getting death threats. They're like, you can't be here. You're going to get hurt. You have to be closed at least while these people are coming through. And that was this weekend. I didn't hear anything about what happened with it this weekend, but this was earlier this week that they had to close down because of that.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, cool. Well, I'm gonna look into the story. Maybe we'll have an update next week
Yeah,
and
because
see
something
what's
had
going
to
on with
have.
that.
They
Yeah.
said that they thought that these people were going to go and burn down the butterfly sanctuary because it's like a
Yeah.
building and stuff, and
Yeah.
that there was credible threats to like the property and the people who run it. but I guess the woman who runs the place has been getting death threats for like 3 years.
Sure.
Oh, also those people said they had footage of the corpse covered in butterflies,
Uh-huh.
but they don't. It's just like,
It was probably like a pile of manure or something,
yeah, it's a picture of
And
garbage is what it is.
yeah, and they're like, and then they did the total like pareidolia thing where they're like, look there, you can see like the shape of the body, and really it's
Right.
just like some blob of dirt or something.
Right. Right.
Oh man, well, that just sucks all around.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
yeah,
And these
there's
people
so
live on,
many. Yeah, there's so many people that get wrapped into these. Like they're just having a normal business, and then
right.
someone like sees some like sinister thing going on, and they start getting death
Right.
threats. And
Right. Can you think of a metaphor that better exemplifies like sweet doe-eyed innocence than someone who has sunk their entire life into having a butterfly
right,
sanctuary?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
to save the That'd be like if you had a kitten hospital and that was your whole shit, was just that you fixed kittens. They run a butterfly sanctuary and these people are threatening to kill them. This woman tried to run her son down with a car. Like, what the fuck?
yeah. Yeah, I just saw the headline out of the corner of my eye as I was scrolling through, and it said something like, QAnon supporters shut down butterfly sanctuary. I was like, what the hell? Did they think butterflies are too colorful? What is the reasoning
Right.
behind it? But but now that you explained it, I'm like, oh, okay, that
Yeah.
is real fucking stupid. But I see like
Yeah.
the QAnon thinking as far as this is right on the border. That's
Right.
suspicious.
No, but because literally the wall was scheduled to go right through
Right
that
through
piece
it.
of
Yeah,
land.
yeah,
And I remember there being a thing about it when they first were seriously talking like they're going to build the wall. And like that's not the only problem. Eminent
yeah,
domain is a real thing that is actually
yeah,
really problematic. And
yeah,
like there have been cutoffs like parts of, because there's already like a fence along the border. It doesn't
yeah,
run the entire border, but there's big chunks of super high fence that run along the Mexican border, the Mexico-Texas border.
yeah,
And there are definitely people who had property there until they put that fence up 25 years ago. And now they have a piece of property that's technically half on the American side and half on the Mexican side, because eminent domain means the government can go right through whatever they want to go through. But the only thing is that butterfly sanctuary had an out because they could cite the Endangered Species Act and be like, if you do this, these endangered butterflies will die, so you can't. And to the QAnon people, that was highly suspicious. Like the environmental, like the Endangered Species Act was just created out of nowhere to thwart their plans of stopping illegal immigrants coming through the gates, because these people now 100% apparently blame the entire COVID thing on Mexican immigrants coming
mm,
through the border uncontrolled. Like COVID wasn't everywhere on the face of the planet Earth. Like they believe that. So they've taken all their frustration about the lockdown and the economy and all the things that happened because of COVID, and they are literally blaming it on a butterfly house because they're letting immigrants into the country.
even the butterflies are part of the conspiracy.
Right? I mean, birds aren't real. Why should butterflies be real? Christ. That don't make any kind of
Um,
sense. Okay. Ooh, bonus story. That wasn't even on our list. That's
yeah,
great.
no, I'm glad that you told me about it, because I remember, like when you're looking through something quick and you see something, you're like, what
Yeah.
is that? I don't have time for it now, but I'm definitely
Yeah.
curious as to why that's a headline, because I'm
No,
sure there's a
totally.
crazy story. So
Yeah,
I'm glad I know.
I was actually looking for stories for the
Mhm.
show and totally forgot that I posted about it because it's on my personal page, because I
Mm,
posted the post from the butterfly sanctuary that they
mm,
made. And like, gosh, the tone of it is just so sad. You can tell these people are just like, I don't even know what to say about,
yeah,
because how do you defend yourself from just craziness?
right.
Like just total, how
Like
do you
there's no, you can't have you can't present logic to a group like that.
no, you
So
can
there's,
no,
what else can you do? Like you can't convince them no matter like
no.
what you tell them. you can invite them over and give them a tour, and they're still gonna say, "Oh, they hid everything before we came, so we wouldn't
100%.
see it, and as soon as we're
Yeah.
gone, it's gonna start up again." So
Or they'll see a pile of garbage and like totally believe it looks like a dead body. It's like, no, absolutely not. Uh, yeah, that's craziness. And I mean, it's also Texas. To be fair, we should probably add
yeah,
Texas to that list too, because
yeah. Texas is almost a different brand of crazy. Like it
yeah,
is. I don't know how to describe that.
Texas, Texas is just spicy Florida. That's true.
Florida. Oh,
It's
that's what I wanted to
true.
mention.
Mm.
Uh, this is it's it's sad to me, but it's the thing. In Florida, you know that it's cold because
Oh,
when it gets cold, the iguanas sitting in trees, they don't die, but they like their body is like you can't function in this cold weather. And cold, I'm
yeah,
saying like 20 or 30 degrees, by the way,
yeah,
not like so they kind of they paralyze themselves and then they fall out of the trees. So
yeah.
it kind of rains iguanas in Florida is how you can tell that it's cold there.
Right, because they're cold-blooded, so yeah, it gets
Yeah,
to a certain temperature and they just I
they
mean,
just
first of all,
conk out.
uh, have you ever like been up close to a full-grown iguana?
I've seen some in the wild in Florida.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're a big animal, and I feel like they got no business being up in a tree, honestly. That's not cool. But you could do worse because I think like when they fall out of the trees, there's a danger that one will land on you, I guess. But they're unconscious and landing on you is not going to wake them up. They're like in some kind of metabolic hibernation when that happens. So it's not like in Australia where like a koala could land on you and they're scary. They'll gut your face.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they'll absolutely and they screech like top of their lungs and like
yeah.
they all have syphilis. They're just horrid little animals. Like I can't believe like people talk about the spiders and snakes in Australia and all the time I think like the worst animal in the world is a koala. They're just horrid creatures. So it could be worse with the iguanas. You're fine. I think you just like what? You just pick it up and you move it to the side and because an
Hmm.
iguana can freeze solid and come back to life. Did you know? That's a real
Oh,
thing.
yeah. No, I didn't
Yeah,
know that. That's cool.
allegedly they can like yeah, they can freeze solid. There definitely have been stories of people having pet iguanas and they get out somewhere where it's quite cold and then they find them and they're frozen and they bring them back and then they come to, which makes sense because like turtles and shit freeze in lakes over the winter time
Yeah,
and wake up
yeah.
in the spring when it thaws. So like those guys are cool. They're fine. They're fine. Don't be sad, T. They're cool.
Well, I just feel bad for them. It must suck to be like so cold that you like completely paralyzed and fall out of a tree
Dude, I feel that way
onto your
every
head.
fucking day here. Every day. That's why I don't climb trees because I would just fall out from being too cold. No, they'll be all right. They don't know what's happening. They totally are asleep. They're totally fine, bud. I promise.
Okay, here's a story I found, but um, I'm having a little bit trouble determining whether this is exactly what the article presents that it is. And this is the story of three dudes. Sometimes when three dudes get together, they don't have great ideas. They kind of build off each other. And so these three guys worked at a bank. They decided that they would embezzle $190,000 so they could buy a yacht that is named Expelliarmus. Did I say that right?
Expelliarmus.
Expelliarmus, which
Wow,
is
you said
a.
that with conviction, T. That's pretty good.
I was hoping I would say it and the yacht would materialize in my yard, but
No, because Expelliarmus means I mean, I'm not like a Potterhead or whatever. I think that's the one that makes things disappear.
yeah, it said it was something like that. They might have phrased it a little bit. Oh, it's a disarming spell, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it makes
Like,
the wands fly out of their hands. Like
oh, it does.
Expelliarmus.
Oh,
And then another
wands.
person will be
Okay,
like, oh shit. Yeah, okay, cool.
I thought
Got it.
someone. Well, I guess there's not guns in Harry Potter, right?
No, not
No.
really. Werewolves though,
Oh, okay. Okay.
which is better than guns. Werewolves are better than guns.
Yeah. But the way the story was framed was that these guys were such Harry Potter nuts that they embezzled the money and they bought this yacht just because it had the name of the spell. I don't
Oh,
from reading the article though, I think that they just wanted the yacht. They didn't really care what it was named.
I
It
bet
just
you it was one of
happened to
those.
be
Okay,
happened to be
okay.
the name.
So they didn't buy a yacht and then name it
No, it
Expelliarmus.
was already
They,
named that.
okay.
Yeah.
They probably, you're right, T. You know what I 100% see is 4 empty pizza boxes and a half a handle of Kesslers, and they're over at the house. It hasn't been back because none of these guys are married. I'm sorry. There's no fucking way that any of these dudes have a significant other. There's no, so they're over there. There's socks on the floor. There's like an empty Planters peanuts jar and like one empty monster can, which all the cigarette butts are going into. And somebody finds out about this yacht and they decide they're going to steal the money to get they wanted to embezzle the money already. They were looking for a
Yeah.
sign,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
sign was that.
Yeah. I
Well,
think that they probably found out the name. I don't know if they're Harry Potter fans. Maybe they are. I think they found out the name and they're like, oh, that's like a spell from Harry Potter, dude. And they're like, oh, this sweetens the deal. Now we're definitely gonna embezzle this money, you know?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want to believe that they just were so like, okay, I like Harry Potter. I can't be a super intense Harry Potter fan though, because J.K. Rowling is a turf and that's bullshit and I'm not into it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's just not how I roll, which is sad because those movies are amusing and fun and charming. But I am gonna say that I think if you were going to do something like embezzle $200,000, I want to believe that they were just like, J.K. Rowling wants us to do this. She's talking to us directly through our television. Like I want to believe that they were people just minding their business who never would have embezzled $200,000 if it wasn't for the fact that the ship was named Expelliarmus. But I'm too cynical to believe that that's true. I think they were already going to do it, and it's just what's up. How did they get caught?
Um, I mean, it was part of a larger investigation. I think from this bank. This bank was falling apart in management, and so this was part of like the problems within this bank, but not the only one. I don't think.
Sure.
So yeah, it says in all, 15 people have been charged as a result of the investigation. So it looks like
Oh,
it was
they were
kind of,
all okay.
yeah, it was the embezzling was widespread, but what was unique was these three guys in particular, um,
No,
who
this is
embezzled the money to buy this yacht so they
no,
could,
this is an entirely different story now, T.
yeah,
Because these guys probably weren't embezzling anything, but then everybody else was embezzling. And every day at lunch, they were like, come on, just do a little embezzling. Just a little just don't, did you like, and then probably Carol from acquisitions or whatever one
yeah.
day came in and was like, did you guys see this yacht? It's named Expelliarmus and it's only $200,000. Hell, I embezzled $200,000 yesterday. You guys could easily have this boat by next week. And the guys were like, okay. I feel like it was a peer pressure situation, peer pressure felony, not their fault.
I really wish there was a picture of these guys in the
I do
article
too.
because I think that would like tell a lot of the story
Yeah.
as to how much of a Harry Potter fan that they might actually be. Or what type of intentions they might have had. Maybe they
Sure.
wanted to read a yacht so they could have a place where they could lay around together and read Harry Potter books.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know these guys. Maybe that's exactly what it's like. Maybe they all have Harry Potter aspirations. Maybe they all want pet owls. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a lot of stuff. Maybe it's less about being a Harry Potter fan and more to do with the idea of this magical spell word. Because if you had stolen a bunch of money from your boss
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to like get the money and run like to international waters, that's very romantic. Take the yacht to international waters and then take a picture of yourself on the yacht named Expelliarmus and send it to your boss. That's a pretty good go fuck yourself. I get it. Maybe these people are poets and that's they just wanted to make a statement. Maybe that's all it was.
And then the boss is a Harry Potter fan, so he's like, "You've totally disarmed me now."
Oh my God, plot twist. Maybe that's it. Maybe they aren't Harry Potter fans at all. Maybe the boss was a Harry Potter fan and
Mm-hmm.
they really wanted to stick it to him. Ah, you've cracked it, T.
Mm-hmm.
You that's why you're like a local treasure because you're a crack journalist. You can put the things together. You can connect the dots. All right. Well,
Well, what
saw
do you
that
think?
one.
What do you think's going to happen when we get this haunted teapot?
Oh, predictions in the haunted teapot. Okay, well, I think that first of all, we should have a seance with the haunted teapot
Mm-hmm.
to speak to the spirit of the pot. And and then I think we'll go from there. I frankly think like what Sam says was that they just got bad vibes off of it.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, maybe nothing. Maybe the teapot itself has a bad attitude. I don't know. But I'm trying to think about because I can't imagine the spirit that would inhabit an old teapot. Like maybe like an elderly lady or like I don't know. I don't know. I
That's a good
anticipate
guess.
strange things will happen in your kitchen. That's my prediction. Like scones will appear from nowhere. I tell you what though, I'm not drinking any tea out of that teapot.
Mm.
Nope, just to be on the safe side. I'd like to keep my intestines out of this if it's at all possible. Thanks. Thanks.
All right. The first thing I'm gonna do is rub the teapot and see if a ghost comes out of it.
Tea that's genies.
Oh yeah. I was gonna call a magic teapot. I was like, wait, it's a haunted teapot. It's
Yeah,
different
it's a
than a
haunted
magic
teapot.
one. Yes.
Although, to be fair, a genie is just a mistranslation of a jinn. And like in a lot of like Arab countries, a jinn is not a wish granting situation. That's like a demonic spirit that wants to take over your soul and set your house on fire and shit. So maybe a genie will come out of it. I don't know. It's hard to say. Will Smith just pops his head out with a turban. Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, it's February 1st today when we're recording this, by the way. So tomorrow's Groundhog's Day.
It is.
What do you think the groundhog's going to predict?
Well, okay, so today was Symbolic, which is like pagan midwinter ritual halfway between the worst part of winter and the beginning of spring. And it's said that the crone collects wood for her fire on Symbolic. And so if it's warm outside, it's going to be a long winter. We still have lots of winter left because it means she can spend longer outside collecting wood. If it was cold and nasty, it would be a short winter because she wouldn't go outside because it would be cold and she'd want to stay home by her fire. So she'd put out a firewood. So technically speaking, today was 45 degrees.
Yeah,
So
it's warm. Unseasonably warm.
Yeah, that bitch could have been out all day. You hardly even needed a coat. So I would guess if it's in keeping with that, if all mythological creatures are in cahoots and on the same page, then probably I would guess he's going to see his shadow. That's how it works, right? If he sees his shadow, then it's a longer winter.
Yeah.
Puxatawny Phil.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to see his
Uh,
shadow. What do you think?
I think that you heard the prediction here first before the groundhog gave it, because it was warm today, so
It was.
it's gonna
We
be a
haven't
long
even
winter.
we haven't even gotten a proper snowstorm yet this year, T. I don't think this is over at all.
Yeah, it just snowed like twice or something,
Yeah,
and
which
we're
makes me
already at
uneasy.
February 1st. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's real weird. And remember,
yeah,
all of December was pretty warm,
yeah,
unseasonably
yeah.
warm.
And you remember the last big snowstorm we had like 10 years ago where everything shut down and all that shit? That was the middle of February that happened, wasn't it? I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So buckle your seatbelts, babes. We might be in this one for a while yet.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens, but we'll be back next week for more T's Weird Week news.
Bye, everybody.